All right, everyone. So welcome back to this market's recap. I hope you all don't mind. I have the fan on because I just got upstairs and I needed to cool off. But I wanted to go ahead and record this recap for you all because this is the recap for the market that I did on May 31st. It is actually June 17th when I'm recording this. So some things have been happening. And as far as another market and market prep goes and doing other personal stuff. So that's why the recap is being recorded a little later. But enough of me rambling. Let's hop right into this recap. All right, so the name of this market is Makers Manifest, and this one happened in Forest Hills, Queens. It ran from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Now, I ended up getting there a little bit before 9 a.m., and my Uber driver managed to go through the gate, through the barricade, and drop me off right there. I wasn't that far from my spot, but I was a lot closer, so that was good for me. And I unloaded everything and I quickly set up as soon as I found my spot. Oh, and also I had the wrong table set up there. So, as a little side note for this market, I decided to test out having to rent the table and the weights so I wouldn't have to bring my table and my new weights that I have for my tent. So I ended up renting those. It cost me $60 if I paid in cash. And then, of course, if you pay with card, it was a processing fee. So I went ahead and did the $60 cash. So when I got there, my table was the wrong table. It was an 8-foot table sitting in my spot. And I had ordered a 6-foot table, of course. So no big deal. Me and the organizer, we quickly just switched out the tables. And as soon as we did that, I popped up my tent and put the weights on the tent. And I ended up setting up and was ready to go probably around, I want to say it started at 10. So probably around 9:50, I was ready to go. And it gave me enough time to go right down the street to the bank and get out the cash to pay the people for the table and the chair. And the weights. Now, as I said, this is my first time doing this. And I think moving forward, just for these street fairs, I think I'm going to do that extra $60 to rent the table and the weights, and then I'll just bring the tent. And unfortunately, I know I can't do just the table. I have to do a $40 minimum is what they take. So that's why I did the weights and the table to even it out. So once I was all set up and ready to go, I actually had someone come and make a purchase as I was getting everything fully on the table. That was like around 9:40, and she ended up buying a room spray from me. So I was pretty much off to a good start for this market here. So I didn't really take my notebook with me, and I have to remember that when I take it out of my checkout box when I get home, to make sure that's one of the things that I pack up so that I can write down notes as the market goes of how it went, the weather and everything like that, so I can report it back to you all. But let me see if I remember correctly. I do. So as far as the weather went, it was a nice day. I had ended up bringing my hoodie with me, even though I really didn't need it because by the time I got there, whatever chill I felt on the way going had instantly disappeared, and it was just a nice, comfortable, warm day, which was perfect. My candles did not melt at all because the sun was actually on my side when the market first started, and by the time the market was over, it ended up moving to a different, well, to the opposite side. So the weather was nice. I enjoyed it. It was a really good feel to it. And even under the tent, because as you know, it could get a little heated under the tent, it was still nice and cool. I had my little fans with me, so even if it was hot, I was able to cool down no problem. And of course, I bring my big jug here, this thing here, I bring full of water with me to all the markets in the summer. So the weather was nice, and as the market went on, there was a crowd from beginning to end of it. So how this market was set up, because this was my first time doing this location, and I believe it was the first time the organizer had a section for this. It's not the first time for this street fair at all, because apparently they do them all the time every year. So we had what was called a craft makers section within the street fair. And I like that better because we have our own section, we have our own sign that lets people know once they move out of the main part of the street fair and they move into our section, they now know that our stuff is all handcrafted or hand poured, and these are smaller businesses. So the way the market was set up was we were on one street here, so we were facing like this way, and then the main fair was going across for a bunch of blocks and down this way. I wasn't quite sure how long it stretched. I only knew it stretched further than where I was going in the opposite direction, only because at the end of the market, my Uber driver turned down the street and ended up going that way. He did manage to pick me up like within the area, so I didn't have to worry about that at the end. So the crowd was definitely there. It was there from the beginning to the end. Like I said, I got my first sale of the day around 9:40, 9:50. She bought a room spray, and then it pretty much took off from there. So I think this market ended up being my busiest market so far this season. I did not expect it. I expected it to be kind of okay. As you know, I did the Mother's Day market, and that one didn't turn out so great. So being in this location, I'm like, oh boy, maybe, they not only had residential areas there, they also had stores there as well. And when I was looking at it before the market came, I was kind of worried because we were going to be stationed in front of other stores. And it's not like we're not with any of the other street fairs. We definitely are, but this one is more close-knit, so we're like literally on the street in front of all of these established stores. But it really didn't affect anything because I believe some of those stores had spots in the main part of the street fair as well. And then, of course, it was residential, so a lot of people within the area came out to see it. And I think that's what I like the most, when you can get a location where the residents are there. It's like a mixture for the city. I'm not too sure about like any other areas, but for the city, I like it that way because you have people who are in the neighborhood. They can look outside their window and see us stationed on the street and say, oh, well, let me go down there and see if I can find something that I like and I want to buy. So I like that because it's residential. And then, of course, they have their commercial stores there as well that's still open. And we don't really take any business from them. So I like those types of locations. And this one was definitely it. As you saw, I spotlighted some of the vendors there. I did meet some people. I liked the gentleman that was next to me. He had a dog treats and toys company there, and I did like the butter crunch cookie that I got from Izzy. I ended up eating that when I got home. I got my sister one. So as always, it's nice to meet some of the new vendors there and introduce yourself. And I like talking to people who have done other markets. So Izzy ended up giving me just a ton of markets that I can try if I can get out to them. And I was excited to get that information because while I'm enjoying doing the street fairs, I would like to branch out just a little bit more and do other markets as well, especially outside of the city if I can hit like the surrounding areas outside of New York City. So I ended up meeting some new vendors and also, of course, those that I knew already. I was sandwiched in between the dog supply business. That's what it is, supplies. The dog supply business and a jeweler that makes her own jewelry on this side here. So it was nice. It was nice having friendly faces at this market. I always enjoy when people aren't as, you know, I don't want to say mean, but they are more welcoming than those who are kind of standoffish and don't really want to interact with you. So it's always nice to have that. I have yet to run into something like that, but you never know. So you just never know. But I enjoyed meeting the people, and of course, I had a good amount of sales come in, which was insane for me. I think that was, well, we're going to talk about it when I get to that point. But as far as everything went, it went nice and smooth for me. I really did enjoy myself. I really enjoyed speaking to the customers that were coming there. And of course, they had questions about things. They tested out stuff at the table. I'm liking my table setup more and more. It leaves a lot more room in the front there since I've eliminated the 3-tier shelves that I used to have. And I now just have those, as you saw in the video, I have those stackable shelves where I can just put the testers for the diffusers and room sprays on there, and then have spare ones to like display other things I might have. I did have my crochet projects. I did have my crochet products out there. I don't expect them to really sell that much, but I put them out there just in case somebody wants to buy them. That's why I really don't make an abundance of them, because I would have a room full of crochet baskets. But they are there, and I really have to stop being lazy and get the pictures for them up onto the website in case any of you all want to purchase them. So yeah, there's like, this market was so, I really enjoyed myself at this market. I'll put it like that. I really enjoyed myself. The weather was good. The crowd was good. The vendors there were friendly and talkative and good and fun to interact with. We watched each other's tents when people needed to take a break or something. And it was just a good vibe all around. All right, so now let's get to the sales of the day. I have my tablet here with the information on it. And as far as the sales go, I had 25 sales on the day, and I took home, which is crazy, I took home $522.50. $264 of that was in cash, and the rest was in card. And I remember that day I sold a lot of the diffusers. I ended up having, by the end of the day, 3 diffusers left. And also, this lady ended up buying out my Crimson Bloom card diffusers. So even with my card diffusers, a lot of them were sold, and a lot of my regular diffusers were sold. And candles, not so much, which I was kind of shocked about, but my room sprays definitely also sold. So it seems like the liquid products did very well over there. Now, I went on a tangent, but the top seller of the day was both my Cucumber Oasis reed diffuser and my Oris Luxe reed diffusers. So yeah, like I said, the lady ended up buying that. I think in total, let me actually look it up, because I think in total she ended up purchasing about 6 card diffusers from me. And I was like, wow. It's like, wow. Yeah, she actually bought 4 card diffusers from me, and she cleaned out my Crimson Bloom card diffusers. A lot of the liquid products ended up really moving, and I really am happy for that, because when I first started out, I wanted the candles to be just the focal point, but then I started to think about how the summers are here in New York, and people will gravitate more towards the liquid items than they would the candles. So I'm glad I branched out to make like diffusers and room sprays, because at that market they really did sell well there. Even the travel sprays, I had people buy a couple of the travel sprays, the room sprays for sure. And yeah, it was just, I was shocked at how that day went. I cannot, like, I didn't have any expectation for it. I rarely do unless I have done the market before. Then I have some type of expectation of what I would hope would get done. But for this one, I didn't have any expectations. I was just going to go into it. And also, it was my first time doing a market in Queens. Most of my markets are in Brooklyn or Manhattan, mainly in Brooklyn. So this was my first time doing a market in Queens, and I didn't know what to expect. And now I know what to expect from from Queens. So that is pretty much the recap of the sales and how well I did that day. Now, as far as the weather goes, I want to give the weather a A. It was nice and cool and comfortable. I wasn't sweating as much, even putting the stuff up. I had my two fans, my hand fans with me, so that was nice. And yeah, the sun was not an issue for my products at all. So that's always a plus when it doesn't melt my candles. And it really was just a good day as far as the weather goes. For the crowd, I will give the crowd an A as well, because it was just so many people there. And it wasn't like so many people were just there browsing. There were people actually there to make purchases, and a lot of the other vendors did fairly well. So it was a good crowd all around, and I'm glad that we did that location. And then overall for the entire market, I'll give the entire market an A. I really enjoyed myself. I am surprised that I made what I made there. And I now know that I may have a market in Queens where people actually enjoy my products. So I just had a good time. I'm like stuttering with words right now, but it really was a good time. I really enjoyed doing this market. Now, the question is, will I do it again? And seeing as the day after, the coordinator sent out an email to let us know how good we did, and that the people have invited our section to come back again, I will definitely do this market again for sure. Can't guarantee that I will have the same outcome that I did before, but I will definitely sign up and do it again. But yeah, that was it for this market recap. I hope I covered everything. I feel like I kind of rushed through and left some things out, but it was just a good vibe, a good time, and it was a good sales day. This is the most I've made so far at one market, inching closer and closer to getting those numbers that I usually get when I do Cobble Hill in the winter. So I am happy with it. I really am shocked with how much I made. I'm shocked at what sold. And yeah, it was just a good market. There's like nothing else I can really say about it. It was a good market. It was a good turnout, and I really did enjoy myself. That is it for this recap here. And if you enjoyed it, then go ahead and hit that like button, as well as share and comment down below. And if you haven't already, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as that notification bell, so that you can be notified when the next new video comes out. Now that is it for this one. Another market in the books. And this one was a good one, so we put it on the good list. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week. And don't forget to show yourself a little more appreciation. So until next time, this is Tammy saying, take care, everyone.